The tremor that had shaken the pyramid momentarily subsided, leaving an unsettling stillness in its wake. Amelia, leaning heavily on Rhys's arm, stared at the binding stone. It pulsed with a cool, ethereal light, the stark contrast to the oppressive shadows that clung to the chamber's cornice. The glyphs carved into its surface seemed to writhe, mirroring the turmoil within her own mind. "Is it stable?" Rhys asked, his voice strained. He kept a wary eye on the entrance, expecting Vogel to reappear at any moment. Amelia didn't answer immediately. She was running diagnostics, sending tendrils of thought into the stone's resonance, searching for any sign of instability. "It's contained," she finally said, "but it's not secure. It's a delicate balance." Harlow, still favoring his injured leg, nodded slowly. "The resonance is fickle. It grants power but demands respect. The dagger amplified the Shadow Lord's connection to this realm, and Vogel he is now a conduit." "A conduit for what?" Rhys demanded, his hand instinctively tightening around the grip of his revolver. "For the Shadow Lord's influence, of course," Carlo replied, his voice laced with a weary sadness. "The Lord seeks to break free, to claim this realm as his own. Vogel he is now a pawn, driven by a power he cannot comprehend." Amelia shivered, despite the oppressive heat radiating from the stone. "We need to find a way to sever that connection." Before anyone could respond, a low growl echoed from the entrance. A pair of spectral figures, the Silent Ones, materialized from the shadows, their faces etched with an unbearable sorrow. They moved with a mournful grace, their eyes fixed on Vogel's discarded form. They remember him," Carl whispered, his voice filled with apprehension. "They feel his grief, his pain. It weakens his link to the Lord." The Silent Ones extended their ethereal hands towards the discarded dagger shard, their sorrowful gazes seemingly piercing through the object. As their touch lingered, a ripple of energy pulsed outward, visibly disrupting the remaining echoes of the Shadow Lord's power. "That's buying us time," Amelia said, her voice filled with a cautious optimism. "But it won't last. The Lord will find another way." Suddenly, a deep, guttural voice boomed from the darkness. "Foolish mortals, you believe you have imprisoned me. I am older than your pyramids, stronger than your gods. My power is eternal." The very air seemed to vibrate with the Shadow Lord's presence. Though contained, his influence permeated the chamber, twisting the shadows into grotesque shapes and amplifying the feeling of dread. "He's stronger than before," Amelia gasped, clutching her head. "The Silent Ones only delayed him. They didn't destroy the connection." Rhys stepped forward, positioning himself between Amelia and the source of the voice. "We need a plan, and we need it now. What can we do?" Amelia closed her eyes, focusing her mind, searching for a solution. There's a secondary resonance, a counter-frequency that could disrupt the connection, sever the link between Vogel and the Lord. "Where do we find it?" Rhys asked, his voice urgent. "It's within the glyphs," Amelia replied, her eyes darting across the walls. "Hidden within the original ritual sequence. I need time to decipher it." "Can't be done," Carl said grimly. "The Lord is already reaching. He's testing the barrier. It won't hold much longer." Suddenly, a section of the ceiling groaned, dust raining down upon the group. A fresh tremor up the pyramid, more violent than the previous ones. Cracks spiderwebbed across the walls. "The pyramid's destabilizing," Rhys shouted over the rumbling. "We need to get out of here." But Amelia remained rooted to the spot, her eyes fixed on a specific sequence of glyphs etched into the wall. "Just a few more moments," she pleaded, her voice strained. "I'm almost there." Another, more violent tremor struck, sending a shower of debris crashing down around them. A massive section of the ceiling collapsed, momentarily blocking the entrance. "Amelia!" Rhys yelled, struggling to clear the rubble. "We don't have time." With a final burst of energy, Amelia traced the last glyph, completing the sequence. A wave of energy pulsed outward, washing over the stone and the chamber. The oppressive darkness seemed to recede slightly, and the Shadow Lord's voice grew fainter. "I'm done," she gasped, collapsing into Rhys's arms. "The counter-frequency is set. It should keep him contained for a while." But as she spoke, a chilling laughter echoed through the collapsing pyramid. "You may have delayed me, little mortal," the Shadow Lord's voice boomed, laced with malice. "But you have not defeated me. I will return, and when I do, Zerzura will be mine." The pyramid continued to crumble, the air thick with dust and the stench of decay. Rhys, supporting Amelia, looked around at the collapsing structure, a grim realization dawning on his face. "We need to get out of here now," he said, his voice urgent, "before this whole place comes down on us." As they stumbled through the collapsing pyramid, escaping the clutches of the Shadow Lord, a single obsidian shard lay amidst the debris, pulsing with an unholy energy. The shard called to something to a darkness that was yet to awaken.